I have never played in a golf tournament until this past weekend, and I signed up at the urging of some friends. I found a golf partner who had never done this before either, and he and I set out to slay our opponents. We got killed and tied for last in our flight. The tournament itself was flawless. The hospitality of the hosting organization was flawless. The customer service of every individual I had contact with who was part of the event was flawless. It was a great event. But here's what I took away from the weekend. Here's what stood out. If you were ever curious to know what a bunch of middle-aged, primarily white guys do when they get together for 3 days of golf, you shouldn't be. I say that being one of these people. We are a horrifically boring, uncreative, homogeneous, but very, very nice and polite group of people who can't dance to save our lives. I watched it all weekend and felt sad for my people. When I saw us try to dance, though, I had to turn away. It was like watching an unbalanced washing machine, kind of randomly wobbling in the laundry room, with no concern at all with the music or the beat. Every stereotype you can come up with fits. We ordered the same drinks at the bar. It was this newish drink that I was unfamiliar with called the White Claw, and it was the rage this weekend, probably because they're gluten-free and low on calories or carbs or something like that. We wore nearly identical clothes the entire weekend. Even the 70s-themed costume party had most of the men wearing nearly identical costumes. All of us had even bought the costumes the same way. If you want to know how we dressed, go to Amazon.com and enter 70s disco costumes for men in the Amazon search bar, and everything that shows up in the top 2 or 3 rows of items was at the costume party. Hardly anything else. At one point, I drove past another foursome of golfers. They were stopped, waiting for the group ahead of them to clear the green so they could hit. They were wearing nearly the same clothes. And I promise I'm not making this up. They were playing James Taylor from their portable speaker. Is there anything more middle-aged white guy than 4 guys in nearly identical clothes, all who had the same haircut if they had any hair, listening to James Taylor? They were probably talking about mutual funds or the economy. I shook my head. Shame. Mind you, I'm a part of this group. I saw myself out there many, many times in many places. And I kept wondering if penguins were to come stare at us as we played golf, would they look at each other and say, "They all look exactly the same to me. How can they tell each other apart?" It's time to change. It's time to shake things up. It's time for the over 50-year-old Cam 2.0 to come out of my shell and feel free to be me. Maybe I'll get a plaid shirt. I'm Cam Marston, and I'm just trying to keep it real. To hear more of my Keeping It Real commentaries, enter Keeping It Real with Cam Marston into your Facebook search bar, or search for Keeping It Real with Cam Marston at your favorite podcast site.